I found the strength of my ancestors deep down in my African core. I used to be frightened, I'm not afraid no more. The Father blessed me with the heart of a lion and a warrior soul. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer. Rise up and conquer them. Tell them no retreat, no surrender. I shall fight till the end of days. I was born as a Makai warrior, and the Almighty God my blade. Fire burn all Satan carrier. Father loose all shackles and chain. This morning first thing as I wake up, King David turns Sam to the brain. Don't let your courage go down, keep it up. And if your heart rip up and stitch it up, don't let your faith them fall, pick it up. When my cup was empty, God fill it up. Don't take the devil contract, rip it up. And if your bad mind people, you go meet it up. Pass me the Congo drum and let me beat it up. God on my side, me no give it up. No weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer. Rise up and conquer them. Thank you, Father. I want to say thank you, Lord. You're everything, Father. Thank you. Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken heart. Even some of my friends turn enemies, and they pray for right to feel. And remember you gave us your only begotten son, but we gave him the wound of love. Send down your warriors with the hello. They carry down to the end of days. No matter how the devil try trick me, unto you my soul I will give. Father, I know this time is coming. I can see the high tide raise. Without you there is no other. Could it be that we is my soul? Weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer. Rise up and conquer them. I am a man, I am a champion, I am a warrior. So who are you to tell me that I cannot make? Who are you to tell me that I am not the greatest that God ever created?
Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and PG Martinique. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on various radio stations: 97.5 CitysoundFM, 89.5 CRFM, 91.9 and 91.5 RealFM Radio, 92.9 Cicero Radio broadcasting from Hillsborough, Carriacou, and of course 94.9 We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn, New York. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on the live video stream, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever it is that you are joining us from. A very special good morning to you. It is Friday. Friday is always a beautiful day. No matter if it's rainy, if sun shining hot, it doesn't matter. Friday is always lovely. Good morning, Mr. Bowler.
Good morning to you, Ms. Duncan, and of course, good morning to all our listeners. It is a wonderful Friday morning. God has blessed us with good sunlight. It's bright. It's not too warm as yet, but, you know, it's kind of morning kind of Friday that makes for an exciting weekend, I hope, for most people.
Is that
So whatever you're doing, I want to wish you success throughout today. I really hope that everyone will get to do and to achieve what they have planned, what they've set out to do for today. The market vendors, it's the kind of day when they go out there hoping to get most of the produce sold, and should they get that sold, our farmers will be doing a lot better, because then the vendors would be able to purchase again from the farmers, and it keeps the economy rolling, it keeps things happening. And so I want to encourage those who are out there shopping, try and make room to purchase a little bit of the local produce. Sometimes it's a bit on the expensive side, and people are a little worried, but the cost of producing is also very high. We need to do what we can to ensure that the food security that we're looking at for our people is achieved. But food security, in essence, really means that the food must be available, but also accessible and affordable. So whatever it is you're doing, Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, further out in the Eastern Caribbean and to the world, the diaspora, everyone who's hearing our voices, or who are hearing our voices rather, we want to say a very pleasant Good Friday morning to you. We really do hope that you had a good sleep, that your body feels refreshed and rejuvenated, and that you're ready to take on the weekend and do positive things.
Absolutely. Mr. Bola, I just want to jump straight into it, and I want to let the general public know, those who are listening, that the lines are open. We're going to open it very early this morning, and I want to say it's open early, Mr. Bola, because I don't want us to get carried away in conversation as per usual and forget to inform that the lines are going to be open. So if you want to call, if you want to contribute to the conversation, the number to call is 440-7377 if you're calling locally. If you are in the diaspora and you want to give us a call, it's 347-329-3101 to call and contribute to the conversation. Very early, Mr. Bola, I want to jump straight into it. And I want to speak about quickly that letter that was sent out yesterday by the Grenada Union of Teachers to informing the government and parents and the general public at large that teachers will now be having their lunch hour off campus, off site, off school grounds and so on. What irks me, Mr. Bola, is the fact that there are parents who seem to think that it is okay to use their children in this fight between government and teachers. Mm-hmm. And I want to be the first, if I'm not the first, then great, but I want to make a public statement, Mr. Bola, that it is not okay to use my child. I am sorry. It is not okay with me. This morning I heard on the radio a parent, I want to assume the person was a parent because she used words such as we and our children. So I want to assume that she has children as well, or he has children as well, and made the very bold statement that parents must support teachers in this fight, and that they understand that the children will suffer, but it is for the greater good. Mr. Bola, I do not agree. I will never agree to a situation where my child is being innocently used as a scapegoat. I cannot see any circumstance. I cannot see any reason, any logic, and I cannot agree with my or any child in my care or water, any child within the nation, to be used as a scapegoat. Our children have been through enough. They have been through enough. Some of them continue to go through a lot. I mean, it's ridiculous. How can you agree with something and go as far as to say you understand that the children will be affected, but it's for the greater good? No, it's not for no greater good. I don't agree.
Well, the greater good for who?
And that is the point. For who?
Did she explain who the greater good was for?
No, she did not. She just said to support or hear whomever it was that sent the comment.
Well, of course, I do believe that teachers and every other public servant, need support. But support in what and for what? As we have continuously explained, it is not a situation where the public servants, inclusive of the teachers, are not being paid at all. They are receiving salaries. They are receiving salaries that had a 4% added to it in 2020. They will receive an additional 4% to their salary. It is not that the salaries are being withheld. It is not that the government is refusing to talk with them or to want to pay them. It is just a case that the government said, listen, due to COVID-19 and the effects that it is having, not just on Grenada, but the world at large, we are incapable of giving you an additional 4% at this present time, but if you can give us a little space, it will be paid. So when that parent, if they are referring to supporting the teachers on the 4%, what would that mean? Would that mean that the government will suddenly find the money? And we have to understand the bolts and nuts here. We have to understand that it is not a refusal by government to pay the money. It is the inability of the state to get the money at this time. And that the government has openly admitted that yes, the public servants will be paid. And they will be paid as soon as the government can find that resource that they need to put a $1.3 million added to the wage bill every month. And one understands that, yes, some people would want to say, well, you know, you're holding back the progress of individuals, and maybe correctly so. But if you don't have it, you just don't have it. If there's no water in the well, you won't be able to draw. It doesn't matter how many buckets you come with, how many times you put the bucket, how many people come with bucket. If there's no water in the well, there's just no water in the well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't think it's okay. We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah. When I started hearing about the protests and the areas that the teachers were leading against the children, I remember that song by Black Stallion, Better Days.
Yes.
You know that song?
Yes, we heard it many times, yes.
Yes. And I'm amazed at that because one line that he used is that they're using the little children as guns. Using the children as guns, right? And I remember during the period just prior to the revolution, we were using the children as guns. We had them marching up and down the town. Yeah? And I'm seeing today that we're referring to the revolution again. I've been hearing quite a few of them referring to the revolution and marching in that militant way. And it's like they don't know what they're talking about. You know, they're innocent, so they don't know. But they need to know what the revolution was like instead of going that way. And you cannot use the children as gun. You're not doing it for the children's sake.
Yes.
You're not doing it for the children's sake. You're destroying the children for your sake and for the political, for your political agenda. So we shouldn't be using the children as guns. No. We can't use the children as that.
Not right at all. Thank you for your concern and your comments, sir. And I do agree with the caller that the children must not. And they have been used in Grenada and in several other places before as pawns in the struggle between rivals. And it's really not the correct thing to do. And of course, I don't know how that parent, or assume the parent, had been looking at the issue. I don't know what information that individual may have received. I don't know how versed that person is with the current issues surrounding the 4% salary increase. And no one, I have not heard any government minister or anyone associated with the government say that the teachers and other public servants do not have an entitlement to that 4%, or that they will never get it. All I've been hearing is a clarion call to have a bit of patience. And I think we do have another caller online. Is that so? Yes, good morning, caller, and welcome to the program.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, dear.
Yes, I'm calling. I was listening to your program.
I'm sorry, you're just a little bit low. Can you either increase your volume or just maybe speak a little louder?
Yes, instead I was listening to the program.
Yes.
And it seems that, yes, you all are bashing the teachers, like if we are uncaring, unloving. But I think you need to reconsider. Teachers are not unloving, we are not uncaring. Now, Mr. Bowler, you serve 2 terms. You're getting pension and gratuity.
No, that's not true, darling. Let me just correct you right away.
Have teachers that is
Just hold for 1 minute, please. I can't let you get away with that. I am not getting pension, my dear. It is not true. I am qualified for a pension, but I won't get it until I reach the age for it. So it is not true that I'm getting pension and gratuity. That's not the truth.
But
So,
you know teachers are working for over 30 years and they didn't even qualify for nothing?
well, that is because of a law that was passed since in 1984. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Right.
Do you just realize that what we are fighting right now is to make sure that we put some money aside so when we get older, we're not going to live in poverty?
And it is also not true that teachers won't get a pension. They are not getting a government pension for those who joined the service after 1983. But there is a contributory pension in place. The NIS is a pension. It's a pension scheme.
No, the NIS, the money NIS is given. Do you ever consider how much can persons who retire, public workers who retire?
Yes, I can consider. I have spoken about it several times.
After retirement, what can they do with 400 and
Sweetheart, let me just explain something to you. I want us to have a conversation, eh? So listen to me when you put something up. Do you understand how the NIS operates?
Yes.
That you need to first and foremost make 500 contributions before you can get a pension. You understand that part? And do you know that when you reach 500 contributions, that what you actually get is 30% of what the average of your your salary for the last 5 years of work?
Yes, I do.
Right. And then do you know that for every 100 contribution that is made every 50, after you reach 500, that 1% is added to the amount that you will get as a pension?
Yes.
And that you can get up to 60% if you work for long enough of what that salary was. You understand all of that?
Yes, but
right. So no. Let me continue, and then I will give you a chance to ask again. So it is not fair to just draw a line across the board and say that when teachers work, they get $400. No, you will get based on what your salary was and for the amount of contributions you make.
Teachers. I'm saying, do you know that some public workers?
Yes, they are, but I'm trying to establish the reason.
Some of them are going home with just 400.
Right. And I'm not disagreeing with you, but I am trying to establish why they will get 400. And there will be others who have worked at the same rate like them, but because they had a longer period of service and they had paid NIS for a much longer period, they will get more than 400. That's what we're trying to establish. I'm not denying the fact that some people get 400. There are others who get even less than that. Right. And I'm also agreeing with you that is insufficient. But I want to bring another point to you, that in an attempt to make a change to that the government, the present administration some time ago offered to bring every single person who is receiving an NIS pension up to 70% of what their last salary was. It depending on what they're getting. So if you were getting 30%, the government was going to add 40. If you was getting 50, they were going to add 20%. If you was getting 60, they was going to add 10%. So every single NIS pensioner would have been receiving 70% of their salary. Are you aware of that as well?
Yes, I'm aware.
And then do you know why that never happened?
Yeah, why would we settle for something that we know that we're supposed to be getting as we serve our country, we should be getting better than that.
Well, how are you going to get it? Just explain that to me, darling. I would love to hear how you're going to get it. Something better. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. I'm saying, can you explain to me how you're going to get something better?
The government just need to go back and reverse the 1983 law that was passed and make sure everybody is fairly treated.
But you don't just do that. You don't just do that, sweetheart. You have to know where the funds are going to come from. So it's easy to reverse a law. You just go to Parliament and you say, well, look, that law that was passed, it's unreasonable, it's inhumane, whatever words we want to use. And we say, now Parliament pass a law and say that is abolished and now this is the new law.
So I understand that.
Right. Now, where would the funding come from?
Right? We don't have money. We can't meet the 4%. But since this pandemic that everybody is pushing, how come nobody heard the government said, okay, we don't have much entertainment, we don't have much of this, so we're going to take out all these pucks that we used to get and put it back to the economy to help the economy.
Pucks like what? Like what you're talking? Let me hear.
Take our mega salaries. We all this extra money that we get for entertainment and all this things.
Who gets an extra money for entertainment?
The government ministers get, besides their salary, they have extra money that they get.
Okay, so are you in a position to explain to me what a minister's salary is like? In terms of numbers and so?
10,000 something. I don't
10,000. Have you ever looked at the booklet? There's a book called the Revenue and Estimate. Have you ever seen one? Have you ever looked at one?
No.
No, sweetheart. I would advise you. Well, I'm not a minister, so I don't work for money now. But a minister's salary is basically about 5,000 plus. That's the salary, and then you get traveling allowance and telephone allowance. That brings everything up to an average of about $7,000. Then you pay 15%. Well, I think it's 10% now. What you call it again? Income tax. On the first $5,000, I think everybody gets 3,000 tax free. So you pay 10% on the 2,000, and then the additional 2,000 you pay 30% on it. So in other words, ministers of government pays about 40% income tax. It's not on all of the money because it's in two brackets. Are you aware of that?
Of course, I'm not.
You're not?
Aware of that.
You know, and there's not even the prime minister of the country is making $10,000 a month. As a matter of fact, every single PS, permanent secretary in the system, works for more money than the government ministers, inclusive of what you call all of the pucks added together. Are you aware of that, my dear?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why don't you all take back some of these pucks?
From who?
The economy that you all are complaining that we don't have.
What pucks are you talking about?
Because working hard and going home with less than $3,000 a month.
Sweetheart, I am understanding your pain, but you're being a little bit emotional. What I want to advise you is to gather the facts, inquire, read up a little more, so when you speak, people will not doubt what you're saying because you will be speaking factually. So, for example, you say ministers are making over $10,000. There is not a minister in Grenada, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can inquire. What the minister works for is not a secret. It is in there's a booklet. Well, in the appendix, I think that's what they call it. At the back of the estimate, every single year, it's printed there. What the salary scales are, what a minister get. So there's a lot of misunderstanding because every time there's an issue, I hear the call, why ministers don't cut their pay. There's so many people in the service. There are principals in some schools that are making more money at the end of the month than a minister is making. And that is factual. We can check it out. So the issue is not what minister is making. The issue is the government collecting at this time sufficient revenue to add $1.3 million to the wage bill at the end of the month. Can you verify that at this time enough is being collected to add that to the wage bill?
No, look around. You will see a lot of money is wasted.
A lot of money is doing what?
Wasted.
The money program is just a total.
Okay.
The government hasn't been running that program properly.
Okay.
It's a good program, but it needs to run properly.
So you can't say it's wasted. What it needs is improvement.
But it's wasted because after all these years, it should have been improved.
Okay. What again?
I'm not putting my mouth in.
No. We're speaking.
Oh, they're just collecting government money.
Like who again? In what areas? I want you to tell me because we can take notes and look into.
To look at it.
Like
you have people. Imani is not even coming to work, but they're getting their money at the end of the month, and nobody's looking at it.
You sure? No, there's a complaints desk. Have you ever called the complaints desk and give a name or somebody that you know that is not working and collecting?
Nothing has been done.
No, I'm asking, have you ever called?
They ask you about some people, and the people tell them that this person don't even come into work, and they wonder, well, how come? And you wonder, well, how come you all paying them and you all don't know they're not even working here anymore?
Have you ever called?
Yes.
Okay.
Personally, and we complain about it and nothing has been done.
Nothing has
government
been done.
Money is just wasteful. That's what
Where else do you know that government money is being wasted? So you cited the Imani as a waste of time. What else?
It's a waste of time. I said it needs to be improved.
Okay, let's not make an argument about it.
That is meant to help people, then improve it properly. That when you are giving people money, then you know that they are doing something for it.
Okay.
Don't just give people money because it's just political gain.
Okay, so you are saying, in essence, let me see if I get you really clear, that you are one that would like to see that people work for what they're getting.
Work, not...
Well, I mean, perform, produce.
Exactly.
If you are not producing, then you should not be paid.
Not shouldn't... Yeah, of course.
Of course.
So then... Work for your money.
Right, so then we can agree that the issue that the teachers are saying that the government has taken their money when they stayed home on rest and reflection. Are you going to agree with me?
It was an industrial action according to the Labor Act of Grenada.
Yes.
They are lawful to take industrial, whatever form they mean to take. So
right.
That was lawful for the government to take this.
Right. So it was lawful to strike or not to work, right? But doesn't that same law say that no employer can force an employee to work? But at the same time, the employee cannot force that employer to pay them if they did not work. The same law that you're quoting.
And the government knows exactly that it was a labor struggle. And
of course it was.
Struggle, it comes with a lot of industrial action. And when industrial action is taken, government know exactly what he was doing. So don't try to...
No. I'm not trying to muddy anything.
No, it wasn't lawful.
You told me...
It wasn't lawful.
You told me...
Sometimes not just being on one side, you need to be honest. It wasn't lawful.
I'm being honest with you. I'm saying to you...
It wasn't lawful what the government did.
That the same law that said that you can take industrial action, doesn't that law continue to say that no employer can force an employee to work? So if you decide you don't want to work, whether it's for industrial purposes or not, doesn't that same law say...
You all use that and you all take...
No, stop saying you all. I am not in government.
Isn't that the same law that states that if the government sign an agreement that they need to honor it?
Of course.
Right, so why is it now that they not want to honor it? Because it was
No. The government never said they will not honor.
When took out our salary, it was like if you all did, you all act like it...
Sweetheart,
all right, caller.
Slow down. Let me make that last
caller,
one.
I know you're getting a little bit emotional, but we're having a conversation, so it has to go two ways.
Yes.
When you make a point, you kind of have to listen for a response.
He was happy. What you all didn't see, right?
No, not you, not caller.
But
I understand that this is emotional for you.
The money that was signed to them, it's that they are ungrateful.
All right, I'm sorry.
No. No one is saying that the teacher is ungrateful and uncaring. You said that. No. You said that when you started, caller. From the onset, you said that we are bashing teachers, and we have always said that the teachers have a right, the public servants in general, we say it continuously, if you listen to the tapes of all our programs, that they have a right to fight for what is theirs, that the government did sign an agreement and that they have to accept that the agreement is signed. And the government has never denied that they will have to pay and put on the 4%. All the government is saying, and they've started the negotiations with the union since last year, not just this year, to say this is the state of the economy. As a matter of fact, and you may know that if your union reported that to you. As a matter of fact, what the government did request of the union since in 2020 was to forego the 4%. Not accept it at all. It was the unions who said, well, listen, we can't forego, but what we are prepared to do is to defer it to a later date. They were the ones who said so. So please, sweetheart, get your facts and stop talking about all you. It's not about all you. It's about a discussion on what is happening. And let's look at all the facts and let's face it.
It's more like you all are attacking the teachers.
Absolutely not. Then you get it wrong wherever you got it from.
They're uncaring.
No one has
have to do what they have to do to get what they have to get.
But that will not make the teachers get anything. I've said, if the well doesn't have water, it doesn't matter how many buckets you put in the well, no water will come out. Let's just be rational and let us talk. Let us communicate. Let us look at all sides instead of becoming emotional. Let us allow our intellect to take charge.
You have to stay outside every lunchtime and don't take their hour lunch and sit down and relax their brain, and until they get their money, they could do it.
Well, no one said they shouldn't. No, and it is their right. I have always agreed that
they always do this anyway.
That is their right. Who said that they should not take their lunch hour?
They already get their lunch hour. They use and utilize their lunch hour to do whatever it is they have to do. There are some teachers who supervise children during that lunch hour, and as they should, because the Education Act does say that the children should be supervised. Now, it is important for us in all of this that is happening. It is important for us to identify in everything that this caller is saying. Would what you guys are doing now, would it automatically make the revenue of Grenada great enough to pay you the 4% at the time that you need
Additionally.
it, or at the time that you want it? So if you strike, if you protest, if you take your hour lunch outside of school and you do all of these things, if the government does not have the money to pay you, will all of these things automatically make the monies appear?
Maybe
Are you there, caller?
Maybe
Hello?
the caller is gone.
Yes, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, that's a question I have for you. So
yeah,
the government is saying that they at this time cannot see the revenue to add $1.3 million every month to the wage bill, to their public service wage bill. That is what they are saying. The unions have agreed that they see where the shortfall in the revenue is, and that they understand that government is not collecting enough revenue. They have said this. But they are also saying that an agreement was signed. Government is saying, we understand that an agreement was signed, but in the time that this agreement was signed, we did not foresee there being a pandemic. We did not foresee there being this economic situation that not only Grenada is having, but the entire region and the world at large. So my question to you is, in all of the industrial action that is being taken, when these things are done, will it get you the money before December? Because government has said that they have given a date that by the end of the year,
They said on or before
the end of this year, the 4% will be paid. That's what government has said. So I'm asking you that with all of the industrial action that is being taken, will it give government the revenue to pay the 4% beforehand? That's what I'm asking.
That's a question you could ask the Prime Minister.
No, I'm asking you because you are the one involved in the industrial action.
The country didn't have money. The Prime Minister said he have, and they paid. So
no, that's not what he said. No.
The Prime Minister could get it.
No, and that's not a very mature answer. What I'm asking you is a simple yes or no. Will all of the industrial action that I am assuming you are partaking in as well, because you said we teachers, so will all of the industrial action that you are partaking in, will it give the state, not government, will it give the state the revenue that is necessary to pay the 4% on or before December?
After we get more intensify, I think we would see if they will get it.
So it will give the country the revenue. That's what will happen.
Let's see.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your contribution, caller. You have a wonderful day. Mr. Paula, you see, these calls are very important because it shows an absolute breakdown in reasoning and facts. I cannot even begin to say how I feel about a teacher of the state behaving in that manner.
Well, we don't even know if that's a teacher.
Well, she said we.
She
so
said
let us
we.
assume.
So it's still you and I assuming. So there seems to be another call.
And I'm hoping that was not a teacher, because it leaves me very burdened as an individual, as a parent, and as an educator as well. Good morning, caller.
Oh, good morning to you.
How are you?
Quiet, and good morning to the dog.
Good morning to you, sir.
Well, let me say this. I'm the judge.
Yeah?
The judge.
So everybody get a lawyer, and let's sit to talk. I'll be at the middle.
All right.
We don't have a problem.
Okay.
Let me tell you, the debate will go on.
Yes, it will.
And I am not the person who will say that ministers are getting too much money. I am the person who would say that ministers are not getting sufficient money. Mm-hmm. Because if I had my way in this country, no minister would work for less than $100,000.
What?
Hey, you want every Grenadian to be a minister?
No, I'm telling you.
Yes.
See, it has to do with the state of the economy.
Yes.
And the revenue collected.
Absolutely.
So I would do it in this way. Get my economy going, ensure that commerce is there, the revenue flow, the money is there to, because let me tell you something. Ministers are not working for social money. It's a hard work. And apart from that, the stone that is pelted at ministers day by day is not easy to sustain yourself. It's a lot of courage and willpower to stand up and say, look, I'll take another one. Some people just pack the bag and they run.
Yes.
So for that, the money is just not sufficient. But, as I said, the economy do not say so. The economy is not strong enough.
No, it's not.
It's not strong enough to permit that. And so what is happening is happening. So government ministers must get their concession and so on and so too, just to boost their morale. But let me solve the problem this, because I've been proposing that to the union. The 4% to the teachers. I believe.
Well, it's all public servants, not just teachers. All public servants.
Okay, what I mean public servants.
Yeah.
I believe if the union had said, look, you could pay us the 1.5 million, pay us that now. And the increase on the wages for this year, we're going to suspend that. So we're not going to get the increase on the wages from this year. So we freeze this year, or we freeze next year, and we continue paying the 4% on the remaining years going forward. So we have this one frozen in the middle here, right? So you pay the one-off, which is the 4%, minus the increase on the 4% for 1 year. And then you resort to the following year going forward, paying the 4% plus the 4% of the salary. And this middle section that you've frozen here for that year, you will divide it in such a way where we go to at a percentage basis. Now, 1% every month or 2% every month on the increase, right, for the next 10 years. So you're not concentrating on paying from the day right on, because it's just 1 year break or a few months break. So we're freezing that quantum here, and we continue to pay for the preceding year, right? And then we're going to divide this 4% here for that year and pay it on a percentage basis going forward as we pay the new increase on the wages. So you only have 1 year in terms of an arrears. And once you complete that over the 10-year period, you're going back to normal. I think this is a very easy formula, and I think if that is proposed to by the union, I think it can be acceptable to the government. The government bring that here. I think it's better to discuss it with the union, and it is feasible. It looks as though we have to pay the 4% from the time we give the increase going forward, but you don't. You pay the 4% now on the wages, and you freeze the increase, the 4% increase, for 1 year, right? And you continue paying the from the preceding year going forward, and then that frozen 1 year here, the quantum, you pay it on a percentage basis as you continue to pay the 4% going forward. So you may only have to pay 1% or 2% of that frozen sum there. And when you finish that, which may be maybe just about 4 or 5 million, maybe, right? Then you're back into the clear. Government gain and civil servant gain.
Okay.
I believe that is an easy formula, and if that is proposed, I think it's workable, because government contention, if we give you the increase now, we have to pay the 4% plus going forward. I say, okay, yes, that is true. But just 1 year break. You freeze that 1 year here, and you continue paying the increase on the salary, 4% on the salary, but you freeze that section here for 1 year. And that you'll divide and give on a percentage basis on top of the 4% going forward. And once that is cleared, which I don't think it's going to be much money. I didn't calculate it, but I don't think it's much money. Once that is cleared, simultaneously, which you pay the increase, then that's it. So that won't take more than 10 years. It won't take more than...
Well, it's something that probably can be looked at and discussed, and those who are crunching the numbers will determine how it would work for them.
That is a solution to the problem. Yeah. I think I discussed it and I have seen it this way. That's a solution to the problem. And if it's administered that way, it will work. But my next thing here is, listening to the argument over the months, and I come back to my theme, which is the IMF, the World Bank, the United Nations. I'm happy to hear our Prime Minister say that he's negotiating some sums now to continue paying the shortfall, those people who need to get, now not doing well, and people who lost their job, to continue paying them. I'm happy to hear that. It falls right into my proposal of putting a position paper to the IMF, World Bank, and the United Nations so that they will take responsibility for the next 20 years because of the pandemic, because we did not bring this virus to us. And our economies cannot withstand the pressure of the virus. Revenue is down. We cannot raise the revenue. What do? Then somebody should take responsibility. Because the United Nations, these bodies are more powerful, the Constitution override all of our Constitution, then they should take responsibility for what is called a pandemic is a disaster, a national disaster, world disaster. Then take responsibility, so they have the authority now to print notes to subvent everybody in terms of our financial needs. So I propose in $5,000 per month for every adult from 18 years up for the next 20 years. You get a check in the post, you go and you cash in the check, and that is to take care of yourself, including paying your taxes and so forth, and putting something in the bank for later, until this pandemic is subsided. Because if we don't do something of the sort, I'll tell you something, it is likely that all the countries are going to fall down at the same time. Because nobody's in a position to help each other. So who will take up this fact? The United Nations, World Bank, IMF, they have the authority.
But do they have the money? I do agree they have authority.
Yes. Let me tell you why I think they have the money. It takes how much? Maybe $1 trillion to do a rocket to go up to the moon. And come back down, and that's it. It takes $3 trillion to create arms and ammunition to fight a war against a country. That money goes in a specific area, an area where the people don't take money, which is arm manufacturers, right? It doesn't come to us. So we could hold back on these unnecessary spending and print this note for the survival of humanity. Because we are running the world for humanity, not against humanity. And if human beings need X amount financially to survive, then I don't see anything standing in the way of doing that. You print the notes so that people could get food to eat, to take care of their life, right? Because we could do the same thing to fight war and to bring this unnecessary craft looking for Pluto or whatever it is. We could stop doing these things and concentrate on the human factor. So the possibility of money, yes. We don't have a money problem in the world. We don't have a food problem in the world. We have...
I think it's a distribution problem. It's not being distributed equitably.
Our world leaders are now saying, well, our small leaders say, I'm saying the people who manufacture the system, the financial system, they put the system together, they have to change it to fall in line with human survival.
Okay.
That's it. And if we can do that, I think we can unlock the problem, and then we come back on the evil kill again. But something have to be done. If we don't do that, let me tell you something. Humanity, I'll tell you what is happening in India now. It is poverty, mainly. That is going on in these people falling down in India. It's poverty. Most of them is poverty. So I think we have to solve the problem on that level. We are struggling. The government is getting a lot of leaks unnecessarily, and I would understand how every minister of government feels when stone is being pelted. And yes, but they're not responsible in many ways for what happened because of how the world system is set. And we have to change that way to bring it in line with humanity. It's not the money that's the problem. It's not the food that's the problem. We have sufficient money in the world. We have sufficient food in the world to feed the world's population. But what we don't have is the leadership with the human understanding to know that, look, we're here for humanity. And it's not printing notes for people to put money in the bank. Well, this person go have that advantage with this amount of money. Those who have the trillions of dollars and boasting the richest people in the world, what are they doing this locked out money there? It's not helping us because look at the pandemic. It's better we have the money than they don't have it. You see? So I'm saying get money around into the pocket of people so they'll buy the food necessary to take care of the health, full stop, and I think we solve that world problem.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate those contributions. We do hope that those in authority will take on board some of the suggestions and see what we can get done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Paula, sometimes when we speak, there are some people who believe that only certain people have rights at certain times. Now, as a parent, it is my right, and as a Grenadian citizen, it is my right to not agree with the measures that the Grenada Union of Teachers is taking. It is my right, because I want to protect the rights and safety of my child, and I would like to see the rights and safety of all of the children of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique protected as well. So it's my right. Just as we have been saying, it is the teacher's right to fight for what they want if they feel like that is what they need to do. However, in this fight, you have to take into consideration, Mr. Bola, one, the ability of the other party to produce what you are fighting for. That is most important. But secondly, you must also recognize the damage that you are doing in the process of fighting. Is it worth the war?
Yeah, well, no war is worth it, I believe, because you may win the fight, but you lose the war overall.
Yeah.
Because of the casualties that are created. Good morning, caller. We do have another caller online. Good morning.
Good day. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Mr. Bola, Mr. Duncan, I'm so concerned with some of our people are still miraculously moving through the weekend. I don't know if you have noticed that there are a lot of people still wants to be enjoying themselves. I really cannot understand in this kind of situation where some people do not have a proper life in state, while others just having life normal.
Yep.
I don't know what you have to do to get these people to understand. I mean, I was so disturbed when I see some people in St. David, but just like normal, like life like normal. Yes, we do not have anything like COVID in Grenada, but that does not mean that you don't have to put yourself in order. You don't know what's going to come ahead of you. You just having music, dancing, alcohol. What the hell you get out of this thing?
Friend, I just agree with you, and like you, we continue to plead, we continue to ask people to observe the protocols.
Sorry to say it, but if the government comes to enforce ban on alcohol, it is just ridiculous, and women, to be precise, more women than men.
Yeah, more women than men.
It's like you want to know, like, how much effort like that's been made to go to serve the Almighty God on Sunday morning? No, because get up early in the morning, get ready with $100 in your pocket or $200 and go and have a nice time. Why are you getting out of it?
Well, they say that is life. That is how they enjoy life. You and I will try to do something much more constructive.
If you look around to see what is going on in some of our neighboring islands and other Asian countries, where people are struggling to live, to make it in life. And here we just like normal. So when we had, remember that study come, the recession that we had in Grenada, right? It comes then after effect of when the big wolf has already.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So we don't know what, we always have to hope and pray for the best, not, best and not the bad to come to us. Yeah?
You're correct with that.
You understand?
Well, in fact, a former leader of Grenada did say, when the big country sneeze, we catch the cold, in that way, he said it. And he's referring to exactly what you're talking about. If we are not careful, and a lot of us are not being careful, we take for granted that things are good. We don't have any positive cases at the moment, and so why should we worry? And people just go about as per usual.
Nobody's saying not to go to the beach, or go and shop, but there's something which is unnecessary. Yes, some of the restaurants and the other party places might feel it a hoe, but that is not priority in life.
Not at this point in particular.
Not this point in time.
Yeah,
not in this point in time. It doesn't make sense.
Very good observation, and I'm happy that they're hearing it from other people in the country, because sometimes when we say it here, they say, well, you're only seeing things on one side and you're not being fair, but it is the reality. It is the reality.
The next thing I'm disappointed is with is like they're very quick to jump on parties,
yes,
which is narrow-minded thinking, because the person who makes the comment it is not the person who really understands what they actually saying, because somebody else is thinking on their behalf.
Yes.
You understand? They have to be visual and think before you speak. Not every time you hear something, you have to answer. You have to talk. Because sometimes you say something, you don't even know if you're making sense or not.
Yep, you don't look for the facts in it before you speak it.
I am only saying this thing because Mr. Bola said it and I'm repeating what Mr. Bola said. Mr. Bola thing making sense, but I just take it from Mr. Bola and go and say what I say. No, think.
We need
think
to.
Before.
We need to.
And I have one next thing. I don't know if the government will be opening up the cruise ships season, but I think that is a measure that they have to be very, very precautionary. I mean, yes, we want the money, but I think life is important than money, so I hope they put extra measures. I mean, yes, we would like to get that extra dollar in our pocket, but is it safe to do so?
Well, I think they are looking at all of the protocols, but I think it is even more than that. The cruise liners themselves have certain conditionalities because they are speaking. They have met, and there have been more than one meeting in my from what I've heard with the board is the tourism authority and the ministry and so. But the cruise liners are saying, look, we are ready to start sailing again, but these are the conditions under which we will. All of our sailors must be totally vaccinated. All of the passengers that must come on board to travel with us have to be completely vaccinated. But also, we will be calling into ports where we have some level of certainty, where we have information to prove that either the majority of or all of the people that most likely will be interacting with the guests that we bring, with the tourists that we bring, the taxi men, the vendors, the restaurants and hotel workers and so must be vaccinated, or else we're not going to call in those ports. So,
I ask you this question: even if you have been vaccinated, is there any guarantee that you will not be infected?
No, there is not a guarantee from the science, what they have said, and I'm just repeating what we have learned from the science and the medical experts.
So, does it worth taking a risk to go after this business?
No, let me just complete the answer to the first question. What is going to happen from the science that they said? A totally vaccinated individual, one, can still contract the COVID virus, but it will diminish, because you are vaccinated, it will diminish the effect that the virus would have on you. So in terms of the amount of time you might have been sick and in bed, definitely not that long. 2 to 3 days, they said, you are going to get it out of your system. It will be diminished, totally weakened, because what the vaccine does is help to make your immune system much more robust, so it will fight the virus. Now, if the other person close to you have already been vaccinated, when you sneeze or cough and there is a transfer from you to that other person, because the system and the immune system is built up and much stronger, they too will be able to fight it. So across the board, every time that virus jumps from one person to the next and it gets a fight, it becomes weaker. It's like you have a real strong man in the village. When he meet up one guy, he can beat him up and still feel strong. But if he beat the first guy, and that guy give him 2 little blows, he resists, and he go to the next one and he get 2 more blows and 2 more blows. As he goes along, he gets weaker and weaker, even though he was strong when he just came. In
I still feel we should be.
No, we have to be cautious. No, I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just trying to explain what happens if more of our people get vaccinated and the virus attacks. It will get weaker and weaker until we probably get it dead, because everybody's system is much more capable of fighting it. But in terms of having the protocols and being careful and ensuring, that we don't just go risky and do things, you are so correct about it. In fact, there's a story out now from the Seychelles. That's a tropical island out there somewhere in the Indian Ocean, a very small island, heavily dependent on tourism. And they had done quite a number of people, not the entire population, but, more than 50% of them has been vaccinated. And since March, they had opened up letting tourists come back in. The difference is that they said no one required to be tested. There'd be no quarantine and all those things. And now they're seeing a spike again in COVID. Even though quite a lot of people have been vaccinated.
I will still, Mr. Bull, I will still insist the government of going and go after SU and bring in the students and settle them in than going after the cruise ship, because I think the SU students will have a more significant impact on our economy than the cruise ship. Yes, the cruise ship may pay the fees and all them kind of stuff like that, but the SU students, I think it's worthwhile more going after them than going after this. Yeah,
well, that is being worked on as well, eh?
Yeah. But the next point on that one is that my take is that if it is a 5-year course, come and spend 5 years instead of you going back and forth and going through all this drama. If it's necessary, there's a sick or death in the family and you have to go, it's all right. But make it a 1 or 5-year course. You come here on the island, you stay, you finish it off, and you go. So
well,
you don't have a risk. You don't take unnecessary risk for yourself and the others. The island. I mean, it is all. I mean, for me, there's a better business than the cruise ship business. Because for me, life is far more important than money. You could always, once you are life, to work and make money
and get money. Well, I do not disagree with you. It's just that I believe all the cards are on the table. Yeah. They are part of the pack. You play them, they have different value depending on the game you're playing. So we need to just prioritize what is best.
Islands, right? The majority of the islands, like look, Barbados, Grenada, still might have something where Barbados really fully depend on tourism.
Yeah.
And we all depend on those tourism dollars. But I think my people have to be more save than money.
Than the money.
Yeah. Anyhow, thank you for your time.
Thank you too for your contribution. We do appreciate all the time.
Have a good day.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we have to find a balance. I think that's what's most important
here,
the balance. Because what we also have to realize is that the tourism industry is very vital to the agriculture industry as well.
Yeah, well, the link is
strong.
Yeah.
One cannot work without the other.
One will, yes, not cannot. It is better when they work together. And in this current structure, as Grenadians, we really don't support local as much as we would like to think we want to. Well, we should.
And the farmers, if you speak to them, the majority of the sale that they get comes from tourism. It comes from the hotels, it comes from the beach houses, it comes from the little man that provides for the tourists and so on. They get most of their business from that. So as long as we do not see that rampant increase in local support as it relates to agriculture, then we cannot even begin to start talking about diminishing tourism and improving agriculture.
Well, I think the caller's concern is safety, first and foremost, life, the preservation of life, and then we can look at the preservation of livelihoods. But, it has to be looked at, and he is just urging that there be some level of caution. He may have gone to the extreme to say no tourism, but he's correct in his call to say whatever we are going to do
it with caution.
Do it with caution.
Yeah. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, briefly, very critical. But I think I'm asking Dr. Martin the question, while the vaccine is going to trigger your body, ask your body to boost itself. If you don't have the nutrient intake, then eventually your immune system will not be boosted. So we have that critical aspect there. Taking the vaccine is one, but then how do you nurture the body, build the immune system, and that's another. So vaccine plus food plus nutrient do the trick.
Yes.
But without the nutrient, the vaccine is null and void. He did agree. He'd accept that. No, we're talking about agriculture and people don't like supporting each other. This is so. But I just finished buying some tomato from a passerby. And I had to buy it because I needed it, but, it's local people. But 25 cents for a tomato, a small tomato, 25 cents in the countryside, not in town, right? How do you sell a small tomato for 25 cents, a little $5 packet, 25 cents for tomato? Should I continue supporting you? And the farmers must understand they must understand, I talk about a farmer, you must understand that you're a producer and you can't be selling as a retailer.
Mm-hmm.
If you are producing the item, why should you sell it as the people who is buying from you to sell it over?
Yeah.
So that we cannot support the farmer.
Well,
And
we get the point.
I will not purchase from that person anymore.
Mm.
So we have a big problem there. 25 cents for an okra, 7, 8 okra in the pack, $2, 25 cents for one. How do a small okra be sold at 25 cents? We have to change this. You have to get people to eat. If we get people to eat, the volume is going to come. But if you don't get people to eat, I'm afraid your things are going to stay in the field and spoil. So we have to convey this thing to the farmer. You can't compete with the imported things. You can't compete with them because these things have a cost. You have a transportation cost, you have other costs, labeling costs, etc., etc. When you say put your things in a plastic, you tie it and you come down the road, it's only a plastic 1 cent, right? This shouldn't cause it to compete with the imported things. And farmers have to understand, lest the farmers are going to always be complaining that the market is closed and they can't get sales because you're selling too expensive.
Right.
So I want to leave that there. I hope farmers are listening.
I hope well, they oftentimes, well, some, not all, but some do listen. So we thank you again for that.
I have never heard what one of my neighbors told me. See, the thing is when you get the first price and the second price is lower, why don't you call the people in and get in the field? So I'm not going to do that. I said, okay, could you reduce the price as your stock deplete? Because you have first, second, third, and fourth grade.
Yes.
He said, no, uncle, I'm plowing it back in the field. So he don't even want to take 25 cents or maybe $1 per pound for the... No, I'm going to plow it back. This is not my thinking at all. It can't come within my reason at all. It's a family member saying it. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. And that's the culture we have outside there, where I don't care about others. I can't go with that at all. I will sell every single thing I have in my field, even a 1 cent. That makes you, okay, rather than living in the field to spoil. I get $1, I get $2, I get 50 cents. And that is the approach farmers should have. Don't throw it back when you sell it at a reduced price to somebody who need it.
Well, sometimes they don't have the business acumen, no, they don't have the heart to be concerned.
Somebody has to be saying so. I mean, the Minister of Agriculture should be pushing those things, getting the farmer to understand that, yes, you are production, but you don't consume. And you have to be selling at a rate that people can consume what you produce.
Well, that's what food security says. Food must be available, but it must be accessible and affordable.
Of course. So
accessible and affordable.
We have that problem.
So it may be available, but sometimes it's not affordable or sometimes it's not accessible.
We have to really, really work at that.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, brother. Good.
All right, guys, remember the lines are open. The number to call is 440-7377 if you're calling locally. If you are in the diaspora and you want to give us a call, it's 347-329-3101. We have a call coming through on the overseas line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sister Duncan. Good morning, Brother Bola.
Good morning to you, sir.
I tell you, you guys stepping up, I appreciate that, man. You guys stepping up, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. You're stepping up big time. Once you had the diplomat there and you had a little second in command there, man.
You never cease to make me crack up. You're a diplomat yourself. You're a diplomat yourself.
Just be fair and honest, and that's all what counts.
Yes. That's what we want to do.
The topic this morning is very good. The caller before that caller and the caller before, everything was online.
Yes.
And the people outside here understand that.
Yes.
But what they does not understand, because I go around getting feedback, what they does not understand is where the government going to get the money from to pay the civil servant. That's what they want to know. Because the civil servant is not answering that. I listened to the lady this morning. Yes. She is not understand that. We don't print money. Right? Yeah. And you have to understand when you're given salary, raise, or back pay, or how you want to call it, the money must come from the economy.
Definitely so.
It must hold strong, not weak. You can't pay 1 month and the next month you can't pay.
It can't pay. That's true.
No, you can't do that. The government going to fall. So if you're going to fall, best you fall putting your foot down.
Yes.
And show them the right way.
Yes.
don't care who vote for you and don't fight for vote. At this time, it's not about that.
Yeah.
Is it right now? It's about the people trying to look for something more on the salary, which is fair enough.
Fair enough, and we agree with that.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Yes.
So then, where the problem coming from? He sent me right back in the 70s, Mr. Bola.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me right back in the 70s. Right? The committee of 22, all the businesses and them getting together to topple Gary.
Yes.
Because they don't care what he say.
Yes.
He just have to go.
Mm-hmm. Gio go, Gary have to go.
Yes, he have to go. You see? And we're coming back to the same thing again.
Yes.
But we fail to realize it's a different time.
Different time.
And place for that. But right now, the government cannot afford it. First thing the government has to figure out. Do I take a chance with tourism, as the guy says, school of medicine, etc.? But the government must take a risk.
They have to.
If they to find that money to pay the civil servant, they can't just sit down in Grenada and say, well, the $2 we're collecting here and the docks and whatever in the airport, plain no fine.
Not one.
So how the union could come forward and say, yes, I understand that, but you make a deal with me. What kind of foolishness that is?
That's all we keep saying, you know. And government has admitted, I will pay you. I want to pay you.
And I would like people like, Brother Oliver, Brother Chester Humphrey, who was union leaders, to come to the forefront and try to explain to the people, because these are the people who are fighting and negotiating for years from the government.
But Chester did come forward, He spoke.
That's good.
He asked the unions to be reasonable. He said, look, I have been a union leader for years, and I understand what you want. You want the best for your people, but understand the situation. They tell him he's a backstabber. They say, we don't want to hear you. Don't talk to us. Politics.
Because they're playing politics.
Yes.
He wasn't a backstabber when Tillman Thomas asked him to join the NDC.
Yeah.
You understand? He wasn't a backstabber when he started fighting for people's rights. Everybody, Chester. But the minute time he come to an understanding that this country needs to go forward.
Yes.
And we cannot keep going down that road. And the Prime Minister pick up the phone and call him and ask him if he will help to build Grenada. He think about it for a few days and then he say, yes, I will help you, sir. So what's wrong with that? At the meantime he do that, he's a backstabber.
Yeah, that's what they say. He's a backstabber.
Right? I go in meeting, Mr. Bola and Sister Duncan, they tell me that Peter David is a backstabber. I like Peter, but Peter shouldn't join. Yeah. I said, what you want him to do? Go up me own party. I said, you that support him? How much are you that support him?
That's the question.
I say he can reach nowhere because he can't do it by himself.
By himself, yes.
He sit down with the Prime Minister talk to him and say, look, this is the situation. I, Keith Mitchell, cannot do it by myself. You know that, Mr. Bola. You were there at the time.
Yes.
I cannot do it by myself. I need all your help to help me this country. When I see young people sit in front of me in canteen, the Prime Minister, what I come to the Prime Minister eye? So today, when he tried to establish things that young people could get a job and everything I hear outside here, he's selling out the country. Yes. He is selling out the country. I hear Maurice Bishop said, as a young man, you let it come. They could come and build, but they can't go back with nothing.
Yes.
They can't go back with nothing. Eric Williams made the same statement. What are they going back with? One time you ask them to leave, they have to leave.
Yes.
There's a right way and there's a wrong way. But you cannot. You cannot just sit back and say, you owe me my money, give me my money. That is foolishness. We know you owe you the money. Because, Mr. Bola, if you owe me $100, and you come to me and you say, look, Mr. Peters, right now, I can't pay you that $100. I'm going to, maybe the next 3 months, I'll be able to pay you, but not right now. Mr. Bola, you go and pull a cutlass and start telling the man, plan us in his backside, plan us because I want the money now.
Yeah.
Would you get the money anyway?
He still don't have
it. He just don't have it.
Yeah.
But once he was honest enough with you, that he come to you and tell you, look at the situation, look at the books. Right now, we can't afford it. The whole world going through a crisis, Mr. Bola. You know, because we don't have COVID in Grenada figure that there's no crisis. You know, the whole world going through a crisis. Look at the mistake the Prime Minister of India make.
Yes.
He had big carnival, big celebration. Everybody campaigning for election. He give away all the what he have to joke people. He sent it abroad because India is safe. You are the second most people in the world, and you make a mistake like that. And Dr. Mitchell sent his small, the little man that hold on tight, and say, boy, I don't want to catch this thing. I don't want to die. I don't want my people to die now. And he started to make crack down and make rules and regulations, and started to say that's the way it's going to be.
Yes.
For now, just for now. And people jumping up, I heard the opposition jumping up like crazy. But I would have liked them to win the election. Dr. Mitchell won the election in the next few months, and they win it. And just to sit back for a few months to see how they go handle it.
Well, we know they won't handle it. They have had an opportunity before, and they make a total mess of it.
That's the scary part about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the scary part about it. Come forward and help the government. If you want to be a leader in the future, a future party, come forward and help the government. Don't keep criticizing and saying things what people like for now, like it's carnival in Grenada now.
Yeah.
You know, just pay me my money. You know, they're singing Calypso now. That's the stop of this thing. So that's only how we can go forward as a country and a people. Look at St. Vincent. Look at St. Lucia. Look at Trinidad. Look at Jamaica. Yes, I mean? Look at Barbados. I could go on and on. Grenada is number one in front of all of them.
Yep, we're trying.
When coming to the COVID, and Grenada's still trying, and we still turning it back. Because why? We want change. We want change. You understand me?
Yeah.
But change going to come. For better or for worse. Change going to come. Because that's what all you want.
Yep.
You understand me? Because the Prime Minister have nothing to lose, you know. I always tell them, he have nothing to lose. He give his time to this country.
Yes.
He give his time to this country.
30 plus years of service.
He give his time to the country. And I learned from one politician, the former Governor General. He sat me down in Guam and he said, Ian, Keith Mitchell is the only politician in Grenada. And he was on the other side.
Yes.
At the time. He was on the other side. And when he said that to me, that's when I started thinking.
Yes.
As a young man. And I say, if Mr. Kyle Green could say that to me, he know what he's talking about. I couldn't see it. I had against Keith Mitchell 150%. But he still me one thing. He's the only man that takes chances.
Yes.
He said the chances he took, no other politician in Grenada took them chances.
Yeah.
In them time, George Brisbane was there, and he tell me, them judges are coward. He says the only man he take chances is Claudius Keith Mitchell. He might not like him personal.
Yes.
But he said when coming to politics,
recommend him for what he's doing.
Yeah. And that make me turn the other way, start looking at politics different.
Good.
And when we won the election against NNP, and they go to the next day to Dr. Mitchell's house and start giving speech and take away this and take away that, I called one friend, David Bumpy Griffith, and I said, what's going on? I said, you don't do that to a Prime Minister? It's weak time now. It's weak time now, the people are saying. And he couldn't understand too, which I figure we have failed.
Okay.
I say we had failed.
Yes.
I was talking about the second day, you know.
Yes.
And I said we failed. I told my sister, I said, Lavi, we don't win in one seat, you know. I said to him, you don't win in one seat. I said to Junior Green, my brother-in-law, you don't win in one seat, you know. But they couldn't see it. Until the time my sister said, how do you know that? I said, because I follow politics too long. You know? I said, I follow politics too long for you guys to don't understand that. And because I believe in what Mr. Green tell me.
Yes.
As a father. And because what he tell me, he in politics bigger than me, long time before me, and he could sit me down as a young man and say, look at this man, Keith Mitchell. He's a tough nut to crack. And I will leave it as that. You guys should have a good day.
You have a blessed and wonderful one to take good care, my brother.
We have a caller coming in as well. Hello, good morning. Oh no, we seem to have lost the call, but he will call back. You know, Mr. Bowler, the important question to ask, and it's a question that I asked, and the caller did bring it up again, that I asked the previous caller, the caller before, when she said to us, you know, that the money has to be paid. And I asked the very important question, because I think in everything that we are all discussing, and we could go for days and days and months back and forth arguing about this and discussing.
Well, she answered the question even before you asked it.
The important question is, in everything that is happening, in all of the industrial action that
would that bring the money?
Will it bring the money? And what was her response? Well, we will see.
We will see when they intensify. So they have an intention to intensify. But she did answer our question before you asked it. She said, get rid of the money.
Yes, she did.
They did. Well, that's what they keep saying. Get rid of the money.
Cut down government salary.
Minister salary.
I cannot believe there are people out there who actually believe ministers making $10,000.
Well, there are a lot of people. They're misguided. A lot of people believe I am getting a pension too, as she mentioned. People have told me that personally. Good morning, caller.
Mr. Bola, good morning, Mr.
How are you, brother?
I'm okay, man.
Very well.
Yeah. Sunday coming is Mother's Day. Mother's Day, so I'd like to say advanced Mother's Day
Greetings,
to all
yes.
mothers of Grand Carriacou and Petit Martinique, wishing them a bright and prosperous Mother's Day. And though mothers, continue to be the protector to your children. Protector to them. Yes, in some homes, there are absent of the fathers, but don't let that break your spirit.
Yep.
Because remember, you carry the child in the womb for 9 months. So that child want to continue to play the role, the physical role and spiritual role of the upbringing of a child. That child will make you proud in life. So continue to do what is right, and whatever thing that is right in protecting the children. Make sure at the age, when they're over 18 and they could available for the vaccine, encourage them to take it, because that's one way they could protect them from the virus. And also, you have to take the lead. Don't send them and don't take it. You have to take the lead in taking the vaccine to protect you and your family. And even when you live in a home, make sure you properly protect yourself from the vaccine, that you wear a mask, social distancing. This is important, because you have to go back home to your family. So, Mr. Uncle, Mr. Bola, you all have a wonderful weekend.
Have a blessed one yourself. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Yeah. Guys, the lines are open. The time is going down. We have a call coming in on the WhatsApp. Let's see what happens here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Duncan. Good morning, Mr. Bowler.
Good morning, sir.
Hope you guys hear me clearly.
We are.
You can.
Right. Great topic this morning. Nicely done, everything. You know, there are a few things that actually was weighing on my mind from Monday to now, right? And I am baffled as to how we can be so inconsiderate to each other. You know? I am even ashamed of myself for actually telling people to listen to a certain broadcast program, because I just tell them, listen to when these utterances are being spewed to the public. Yeah? You guys hear me, right?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead. Go continue.
Right. So we have our own problem in Grenada, as the whole world. We have our COVID thing to deal with. And lo and behold, I hear a talk show host lambasting and calling a prime minister of another country an idiot on radio. I mean, that stands out to me to how far we can go to be stupid. Because I listened to a so-called youth activist on a program, and they compared him to Morris Bishop, which I don't see, because he will never be. He's trying to talk about Morris Bishop, and he's like, to me, I don't want to say the word, but he's like S-H-I-T in my view, because they can say that on the radio. You understand? And
He knows exactly what he's doing. My problem with him as a youth ambassador or youth leader or youth activist, you are following a guy that don't give a damn about you and is actually doing this for monetary gains. Because if this guy that you following and having meetings and going around and saying, you for change, is threatening a political party with their leadership and calling political members of the party, and he says he's a member, calling them by name and saying, this will happen and you're old man and you go there. It begs to wonder, what is your objective, brother? Why are you aligned to that stupidity, brother and sister, the one of this hotel? Come on, listen to yourself. And look at your following. This guy boasts about drinking coffee and eating breakfast pie and all that nonsense, running on Peloton and running on treadmill. What are you doing for yourself? He's saying he's unemployed. This guy is going as far to say no one can tell him what to say, when to say, or to say. No, Mr. Redhead, Ron Redhead, I'll call you name because I'm ready for him. Only having meeting Thursday coming, I'll be up there. Yeah, ready. Back to my part, Mr. Bola.
Well, we thank you. Just be careful and don't get yourself in trouble.
I ain't finished.
Oh, I thought you finished. We don't want the police arrest you, so be careful.
Don't worry about that. I get you. The same guy, right, is actually equating why Prime Minister Mitchell cannot get his electors who voted him into office, him and his party. Mind you, 50 at the last election to go get a vaccine. I am fully vaccinated. I am an NP supporter. So he's asking NP why they can get 30,000 people to go get the vaccine. Whose detriment it is to get a vaccine? Mine or yours? Why didn't Donald Trump tell his regular supporters, his MAGA supporters go get vaccine? He did get vaccine.
Yeah.
He get COVID and he still get vaccine. Right? But you telling them. Why? Political reason. So to this radio host, that is Bodmer's program every morning, and spewing rumors and trying to equate maths. Brother, I say it on this program here. We know your history, and when campaign comes, I'll be on the platform talking and explaining exactly what you did, because you playing gospel and you having a fast every morning, and you ain't believe in God. I know you don't believe in God. So I use this platform right now because I about it. This guy to stop his nonsense. He has to. You understand? You get free money. You have a child, for God's sakes. The company I work for, Mr. Bola, Ms. Duncan, tell us with the union that it cannot pay us 3%. The same Andre Lewis. Andre Lewis is the leader of the union for this company here.
Yeah.
We ain't complaining. Just there. You understand? But I'll give the Honorable Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance a little advice. Pay them the money and get rid of those that you cannot pay, and then we're going to see who will really be affected. It's as simple as that. And parents, put your children in private schools. It's as simple. I don't want to be the devil advocate, but if you guys are the one, because if my child is going to school and you want to take my child, that's the problem. That's not your job.
Yeah.
It's not your job. I agree, it's not your job. But if that's the road we have to go, so be it. Mr. Bola, Ms. Duncan, have a good weekend.
You have a blessed one. Take good care. Take care of your mom and, your children. Mom, it's Mother's Day. Give them big kiss and a lot of gifts.
I've heard, Mr. Bola, people saying that government should just give them the money and get rid of it.
Oh, yesterday we dealt with that.
Yeah. That it's not an ideal situation, because then it puts more burden on government, because these people would now be looking to government for social program. Mr. Bola, as much as we would like to speak here, Grenadians do not prepare for retirement. We do not, as a people, most Grenadians do not prepare for retirement. Retirement is not just about collecting a pension at the end of every month. It's putting a plan in place so that when you retire and you realize that shock of no salary is coming in at every month, plus you have needs that need to be met, that you are able to do that. It's not just about a pension.
Well, retirement planning should start from the day you start working.
Yep.
Yeah? You should.
We have a caller. Ms. Cammy, good morning.
All the beautiful mothers in Grenada, Carriacou and Pigeon Martin.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a blessed day, you too.
You too.
And Mr. Bola, blessed weekend.
You as well, Miss Cammy. Happy Mother's Day to you in advance.
Yes. All all the beautiful mothers in Grenada. Have a happy Mother's Day.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
and
Love
same
you
to
all,
you.
guys.
Take
All right,
care.
bye-bye.
We love you too.
Bye-bye.
Yes. That is the biggest problem. It's not, and nobody.
Well, it's part of the problem, huh? And you know, even the whole issue of NIS and all of that. You can't just heap the blame on the present administration.
Yeah.
This is the construct of the NIS. We need to teach people and encourage people. We had programs. We got NIS people to talk about what is necessary, what you should do. They went up in arms, the opposition, about, oh, we bring NIS people into disrepute and bring them in party business. All we're trying to do is share the information and educate and edify people so they will understand. Retirement planning is important. A lot of us just sit down and feel that, oh, well, you do 30 years of service and now the government ain't giving you nothing. You got paid for every single month that you work, for every day that you work. All of us do.
And this is not saying that pensions can't be more or shouldn't be more.
Well, of course, it should be more.
It's just saying that it doesn't matter how much money you make at the end of any month, you always see a need for more. And it doesn't matter, and this happens with everybody, and it doesn't matter how much more your salary goes up, your needs begin to go up as well.
Of course, consumerism.
Exactly. We have a call on the
Take
line.
all
Hello,
that
good
you have.
morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bowler. Good morning, Ms. Duncan.
Hi. Good morning, and good to hear that voice, and happy Mother's Day to you in advance.
Oh, thank you very much. And I would like to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I have some favorite ones, but if I call it favorite ones, the others might,
Well, don't call any.
Happy.
Just give a broad thing.
Right,
Yes.
but I want to say happy Mother's Day to the mother of our Prime Minister, and I want to pray that God continue to keep her, and she has done a great job, so she has to be proud, and I know that He will shower her with all the love that she needs on Mother's Day. Now, my contribution is we have to remember, and I want the young people mostly to take stock because, and I want them to reflect on how the revolution got about. Because the same young people were used, and the same young people that are pushing, well, they are older now, but are pushing them today are the ones that were part of a system. They were used by, I guess, the older ones to get a certain prime minister out of office. And a lot of lies were told. Because as a young person, I remember saying that the man is an OBM man and the man has some dragon or some big snake drinking blood downstairs in the apartment. You understand? And people, young as children, we go to school and we hear these things and we repeated it, So young people were used and teachers then were used to demonstrate. They had all kind of demonstration, all kind of seek out, all kind of whatever until people got shot and so. And then a revolution was born out of the same young voices. And they become popular. And they held guns. And they took over. And I remember, I think it was 1981 or 1982, when the same GUT, well, it's not the same, but some of these guys are leaders of the GUT today. And when the teachers, when they asked for more, they were told, before you ask for more, think about the poor. After they struggle and they held guns and fight for that revolution, that is what was told to them. So the same the same people then, some of them are union leaders. They're not going to back down because they want to get rid of this government. We also have to remember in 2008, in 2008 to 2013, the teachers didn't have a voice. The unions didn't have a voice because there was nothing for them. And they couldn't demonstrate. They couldn't open their mouth. They couldn't say nothing. Now, the only government, if you check back, the only government that has really seek out to assist and to give them, the public servants, more and more and more, are the government today that are being fought and are being, all sort of action is being taken. But look at the people that are pushing the action. Check their background. See how they got into the position that they are in now. Now, young people, do not be fooled and do not be used as the people, young people were used for a revolution. And when you hear people talk about the gains of the revolution, let's also, because videos are still circulating, let them also tell you about the ills of the revolution, because some of these same people were shot down on the foot like dogs. They were shot down on the foot like dogs. So people, young people, there are some young people that take to social media, and calling the prime minister all kind of names. And, there are people supporting them. Can you imagine saying that these are the popular people of today? Can you imagine these people being in some superior position later? What are they going to do to the young people that would be subjected to them? I mean, come on. People, we have the government say that they cannot come up with the money right now. And yes, there's a signed agreement, but the signed agreement was made before COVID. It was made before the government revenue was reduced. So I don't see the government dishonoring no signed agreement. It's just like somebody taking a mortgage and they lost their job by whatever means, and they cannot pay the mortgage anymore, right? So, we want people to take a look. Just take a look. Mr. Bola, Ms. Duncan, you all have a blessed weekend.
Yes, you have yours. Wonderful. Enjoy your Mother's Day. Take good care, and thanks for calling.
Well, Mr. Bola, I mean, the ball is in the court of the Grenada Union of Teachers. I know personally some teachers that are not participating whatsoever in these kind of activities and do find it immoral. I mean, how can you feel comfortable knowing fully well that the strategy is to use the children of the nation in order to get what you want as personal gain? How can you feel comfortable with that? And how can parents support something so sinister against their own children? We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Caller, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Ms. Duncan. Thanks for taking the call. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Morning to you, sir.
No, Mr. Bola and Ms. Duncan, I have no doubt in my mind that the GUT and the representative will come to the senses and they will realize that they will have before the payment to a later date. I'm convinced of that. The next point is that, Mr. Bola,
yes.
you don't have to elaborate. One up and down answer. Am I correct in saying that another total lockdown for Grenada will be more painful than the last?
It goes without saying, brother. It goes without saying.
All right. Now, the other thing is that all Grenada, the majority, if not all Grenadians in the diaspora, are giving credit to the government for the way they have managed and handled this pandemic and crisis. And they are also giving credit to the people for their compliance. But you know what they are saying? They are saying that if we're getting complacent, they are begging us, please don't drop our guard. The last point here, Mr. Bola and Ms. Duncan, people must be very careful when you hear they talking revolt and revolution. I said that before. Brothers and sisters, be careful. Because any such event in Grenada going forward, we will have to rewrite the last one as a kindergarten exercise. That is what people don't know. It's not about, it wouldn't be cocoa knife and cutlass and knife. You understand? We have too much experience now. You know, we know how to take territory and hold it. You know, so any future exercise like that, brothers and sisters, be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you're calling for. Because I know those who calling for such thing, they don't have the belly, they don't have the appetite, and they don't have the testicular fortitude to handle it. So brothers and sisters, be careful.
Well, thank you. Have a good one and make your mother and all mothers that are involved with you happy for the weekend.
Well, I don't have my mother, but I will tell you the mother of my children.
Yes.
They are such excellent human beings. I have no other choice but to do my part and to play my role in making sure they have an enjoyable one.
Well, you have a good one yourself. Take very good care.
Thank you, sir.
I like the word. A long time I didn't hear someone use that word yet.
What, testicular fortitude?
Yes, the testicular fortitude. I normally say the intestinal fortitude. Some people who are much braver than me says testicular
We
fortitude.
can take maybe one.
Well, if that one comes right away. If not, if one is not coming, because we are running out of time quickly. No, I just want to use the moment because you have a few comments. There's one, I see a pretty long one on the WhatsApp. I don't know if it's one that you could read. So we have very little time, so I'll give you the time to read. But just before you do that, on behalf of us here at Hard Talk, and I got a message from the National Women's Arm of the party to say they've asked me from a message on the phone to convey on their behalf a wonderful and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers of Grenada. All the mothers of Grenada, irrespective of which political organization you give your support to. It is a time that mothers should enjoy. And I just want to add that all of the fathers who act as mothers, we wish you a happy Mother's Day too. And those fathers that are really fathers and act as fathers, please do your best to make the mother that you have in your life or the mother of your children happy on Sunday.
Let's take this last call. It seems like we lost it. But there's a message on the live video that I do want to read. It says, "Good morning, Miss Duncan and Mr. Bola. Happy to see your lovely faces again. It is very disheartening and disappointing to hear a member of the union talk so much nonsense. You see why this fiasco keeps going on and on. It's because of a lack of wisdom. My Lord, the world is still in a tailspin with Corona, and the only thing we in Grenada choose to do is show our ignorance and narrow-mindedness by going on with this 4%. I think the PM should call election, and God forbid the NDC win. Then what they will see. As the last time they won, the treasury empty, then sell whatever they could to pay salaries. Forget the 4%. Impossible. We need to wake up and get real. May God have mercy on us for this judgment we are asking for on the nation. Just imagine, I refuse to listen to the news anymore. And my friends are saying the same thing over and over. Politics playing with the nation's children. Thank you." That is what one individual is saying here.
Well, I do agree with the individual that God needs to have mercy on this nation. I do agree with that. Are there any on this other side that you can read quickly?
Yes, we do have a few short ones that were engaging in conversation with us while we were conversing. One is saying ministers don't work for a lot of money for the time and effort they put in. Not because ministers are not in front of your door means that they do not work. Someone else is saying the union would still not agree with that suggestion. It is all political. Mr. Bola, we are running out of time, and I do want to appeal to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Before we close, I want to gravitate away from the 4% for just a moment and speak about the COVID situation. It was only yesterday that I read about retailers in Trinidad having difficulty with portable oxygen supplies. Of course, because the demand becomes greater. And what are we now? Maybe in the 6th day since they have gone into a state of lockdown and started seeing a rise in the number of cases. And I do, and yesterday actually also a student in a school in, because in Barbados they would have integrated the Form 5s back into school. The other grades were not in as yet, and a student tested positive for COVID, so they had to shut down the school. I'm saying all of this to say that we are lucky and we're blessed as a people here in Grenada. We have been afforded God's mercy. He has shined upon us. And I think we are taking it for granted, honestly. I look around at what is happening in our society, and I look around at what is happening in the rest of the world, and that is how you know when we don't understand what priorities are. In other parts of the world, people are crying out because loved ones have been lost. They're crying out because they have been sick. Some have been left physically wounded as a result of contracting COVID. Economies are being shattered all around the world because people are either jumping back into life as normal too quickly, or not taking enough precautions. Or not taking precautions fast enough as well. The Ministry of Health, along with all of the frontline workers, with a lot of the people in Grenada as well, we've done a marvelous job in dealing with this. And there is no doubt about it in my mind that God did not have a hand in our dealing with COVID. Just look at the results that we have reaped from this.
Colin, that statement is a little puzzling.
No,
there's no doubt in my mind that God didn't.
That God had a hand.
Oh,
Sorry, that God had a hand. That God did have a hand.
Okay.
In
I
how
think that's what you meant, but
yes.
the way in which you said it,
it sounded
conveyed
puzzling.
something different.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. Just look at the results that we have reaped, the gains that we have made. But yet for all, instead of us getting on our knees and saying, thank you, Father, for protecting my life, for protecting the life of our loved ones, we find every other thing to make an issue. And God is only merciful for so long. God may only be gracious for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be careful for what we are asking
You better
for.
be careful. You sure about what you said?
Yes, for what we are asking
I
for.
thought God was always merciful and grateful.
For so long. God doesn't do bad things to people, but sometimes to teach us a lesson, He allows bad things to happen.
Okay, preacher.
He allows bad things to happen. So we don't ever want to be in that kind of situation. I feel at this point what we need to be doing is thanking God and praying for further protection, because we are so far away from being out of the woods. We may be good in Grenada, but we have not seen even the tip of the tail of COVID. And we pray, or we should be praying, that we don't see it. So let us all do our parts. Get vaccinated. If you are on the fence about being vaccinated, direct your concerns to people who can answer your questions objectively, who can provide you with facts, who won't just help feed whatever reservation it is you have with nonsense and conspiracy theories, but speak to people who can help you and who will help you. You know, and that's my hope for everybody here in Grenada, because I don't ever, every time I turn on the news and I hear about what's happening in Brazil and I hear about what's happening in India, it really breaks my heart, you know, and I feel like if I can speak about this every day, I will, because I don't ever want us to be, Mr. Bola, in that situation at all.
Thank you. You're out of time, Ms. Duncan, but I will only end by saying I feel sorry for you. Happy Mother's Day to you, because your heart does be broken about so many things. By now, you don't have any heart at all. Have a good one.
I think I have too much heart.
I hope your heart comes back, and enjoy Mother's Day. You'll tell me all about it on Monday, should we survive.
I will. Guys, we have come to the end of our program for today. And to all of my friends out there who are mothers, and of course to all of the mothers of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique, Happy Mother's Day. I hope you guys get an opportunity to rest, relax, and enjoy.
I'm waiting until Sunday morning to tell my wife.
You wait until Sunday morning?
Yes, I want to tell her no.
Well, you have that right. She's right there with you.
Who tell you?
Guys, it's been a pleasure being here with you in everything that you say and you do. Be safe and be secure. We always want to be talking with you. We do not ever want to be talking about you. So please do enjoy the remainder of your day and stay tuned for the national report. It has been a pleasure, guys. Have a wonderful weekend.